Hello, thank you for joining RasPipKr tutorials. I'm Martin Parker, and in this Python tutorial video I'm going to talk to you about try and accept. Now in my last video, because I like to try and incorporate and follow on, I mentioned in my inputs video, which was the last one, about ways that you can capture errors, and in my last video, which was inputs, I mentioned about you expecting input to either be strings, floats or integers. So I'm going to do a quick example here. I'm going to put a is equal to, I'm expecting an integer to be inputted by the user, being me, but first it's going to print to the screen, enter a number, but me being me, I'm not going to enter a number. I'm going to force an error, and I'm going to show you what error would receive on screen, and it will break your code, and that's why I'm going to show you the try and accept. So I'm going to enter my name, and it's come back where it would crash your code, and it's going to say a value error, and that is the line there that has caused the problem, because I was waiting to receive an integer as the input. And it's telling you more information down here. That's what I entered. So rather than writing in this section here, I'm actually going to start doing an actual Python file, because we are getting to know more bits of coding, and I'm going to have it as an actual file. So I'm going to create a function in here, which will be, I'm defining it and calling it test, and there's no arguments in it. We have covered functions in a previous video if you want to refer back, and I'm going to use my try and accept in here. So first of all, you just enter the word try and then with a colon on the end, and then notice how it's indented down onto the line below, and here I'm going to expect a num to be my input variable, and it's going to be equal to, and it's going to expect a whole number being an integer, and it's going to receive input from the user, me, and it's going to print to screen saying enter a number, just like we did in our example in the previous window. So there it's in our try bit, and it's going to store the value, whatever I enter, as num. And I'm going to do the for loop just like I did in the input video when I did the little example at the end. So I'm going to do a for loop for I in range, so it's going to run up to the number that I enter. Which is a very straightforward, simple thing, and it's going to basically print out to the screen the number like so. Now I'm going to notice how I press enter and it's gone down underneath. So if I scroll, if I press backspace, it's jumped back in line with the for loop there, and then if I press it once more, it's now gone in line with the try that I entered. And now I'm going to put my exception to capture that error. So I'm going to put in accept. Notice how it's in orange, so it matches up. Now there is ways that you can actually, there is multiple errors that you can capture. If you were to put just a simple accept, it will capture all possible sort of errors. But in some ways it's better to actually specify the type of error that you are expecting to receive, and here we are expecting to receive a value error, and that's where we're going to put it in. And if there is an error, I'm going to print to screen you didn't enter a number, so I'm telling myself off. So there we go. It's printed to screen if it is not a whole number that I enter. And what do we want to do? We can either leave it and it'll jump out that function, or if you really want to receive a number or as part of it, where was I? Right, so basically if you really do want to receive that input, you can use this little try and accept value error, and then call, like here I'm going to call my function again so I definitely receive that number, and then it will break out of the test function. So it's, in a theory, it's kind of like a loop. So that is all I'm going to enter into my function. So there you go, that's pretty much it. And I'll even put a print, the function has finished, and that's it. It's just going to basically print that to screen, telling you that you've dropped out. And I'm going to save this, and I will save this as, I'm just going to call this tutorial, and it will save that. And if I click on the run and then the run module, or you can press the F5 key, I'll click here this time, and then as you can see in the shell window it has brought this up, and it's basically restarted this Python shell, as it says there, and the function has finished. Now we need to actually call the function for it to actually work. I have done function video, and you need to actually specify the function with the brackets. I'm sorry, my little boy threw me out when he come in. So there we go, we're going to call our function here, and what it'll do when this program is run, it will run through the function, it will see it all, it'll load it all into memory, and then when we actually call the function here, it will do this, asking for the input, and if there's a problem it will force it to do this part of the code. If there isn't a problem, it will then just print the numbers to the screen like it does here, like shown here, sorry. And then when that is done and that's fulfilled, it will then jump out of the function, and then it will print to screen saying the function has finished. If there is a problem, it will call the function again until you do enter a number, so it's kind of looping. So let's run it. So like I did mention, you can click on the run and then run module, but this time I'm just going to click on by pressing the F5 on my keyboard, and it's just asking me to save it. You just press enter and then it will run that piece of code, and now it's asking me to enter the number. So I'm going to force an error. I'm going to print my name, enter my name, and it says you didn't enter a number. I'm going to enter a float number, so it's a decimal point number that, and it didn't enter a number. You know, it's expecting an integer, a whole number, so I'm just going to enter the number 4 and press enter, and it's printed out to screen just like it was to do in the code. So it's printed out up to 4, which is perfectly fine. And then because I set the line in a print statement for print, the function has finished, and that's why it's done that. And I've gone back to the command line, well, Python shell text. So there we go, that function has run. So we've touched more on the functions, we've done more on inputs and working with integers, but more importantly the video was about the try and accept, so that you didn't crash out of your program, and that's why I purposely put it into a function, so that it will recall itself if there is an issue. Okay, so that's it for this video. Please like, share and subscribe if you can, that will be fantastic. And I will do some more with try and accepts in my next video. Okay, so thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.